Hello and welcome to Nerd Subculture. I'm your host Jared.
And I'm Edwina.
And today, continuing our Once More with Feeling series on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, today we are doing Season 2, Episode 11,
Ted.
This episode was first aired December 8th, 1997, written by David Greenwald, Joss Whedon, and directed by Bruce Seth Green.
This is a full spoiler podcast. I'm a huge fan of the show, but Jared has never watched the series all the way through.
And so far I haven't seen any of these episodes.
So you haven't seen this one at all?
No.
Okay, to be fair, I possibly do skip this one. It depends on what sort of rewatch I'm doing. So sometimes I'll do a rewatch where I won't skip any episode.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll do a rewatch where I only skip the really, really, really bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the one where I just skip all the ones that I don't like. Mm-hmm. And this is probably when I'll normally do this on the second option that I said where
What was the second option? Sorry. I missed those options again.
So the first one is like I only miss the ones that I really, really, really hate, like Teacher's Pet, and there's another one coming up.
Yeah.
And this is like in probably the mediocre of the mediocre.
Right, okay, yeah.
Episodes. But yeah, if I'm doing one where I'm skipping all the bad episodes, I definitely skip this one.
Right.
Forget it.
John Ritter, guest star in this one.
Yeah.
So your overall this is not a favourite of yours, and I'm guessing
not at all.
And rewatching.
Oh, you know what? Like over the years, I think I hated this more when I first saw it, and it's because it uses the not now kiddo trope, where you have that character where they're trying to tell the other person that there's something wrong, and everyone just ignores them, says, you're just being paranoid.
They're really,
you're just
Buffy's
jealous.
Mum's awful, yeah.
Yeah, you're just jealous. Like that. Everyone just is like, Buffy's wrong.
Oh, it's crazy talk, Buffy.
Yeah. And no one believes her. Like, mind you, all of them are pretty much drugged. Apparently, like they've all been drugged by his cooking.
Yeah, some sort of sedative or something. Not a hard sedative, just a suggestive sedative.
Yeah.
Which I never really elaborated.
No. It's just something that makes you a bit more pliable.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's kind of icky.
It's got plenty of that.
Oh, yeah. Did you want to do the synopsis?
Yeah, well, let's get that out the way. All right. So, Buffy's mother, Joyce, introduces a new friend, Ted Buchanan, a computer software salesman. He tells Buffy that he's been seeing Joyce for quite some time now. Buffy becomes uncomfortable with Ted's 1950s sitcom mannerisms and is not impressed by his offer of miniature golf. That night, Buffy beats a vampire to an unusually bloody pulp before killing it, worrying Giles that something is troubling her. Buffy asks Angel for his take on things. He says that her mother needs a man in her life, and she should give him the benefit of the doubt. The golf outing goes poorly. When Buffy tries to cheat out of sight of the others, Ted notices and threatens her with a slapping. Buffy talks her way into Ted's workplace where an envious co-worker tells her that he is an unbeatable salesman they've even nicknamed the Machine. She also learns that he is making plans for a wedding in 2 months' time. At dinner, Ted denies the engagement but confesses to Joyce that he hopes they will. Buffy slips out for some slang and on her return finds Ted has read her diary. He threatens to tell Joyce about the Slayer unless she toes the line. She defies him and is slapped. In the resulting brawl, Ted is kicked down the stairs. Joyce declares him dead when she cannot find a pulse. The day after a talk with the police, Buffy is in a haze of guilt. Willow, Xander, and Cordelia dig deeper into Ted's life, discovering Ted's cookies are drugged. Cordelia finds Ted has had 4 wives since 1957, all of whom have since disappeared. That night, while Giles patrols, Sunnydale High School teacher Jenny Callender surprises him and apologizes for avoiding him. A vampire attacks as Jenny accidentally shoots Giles with a crossbow. Buffy finds a reanimated Ted in her room. They fight again, and upon cutting him, Buffy discovers that Ted is a robot. Ted knocks Buffy unconscious and escapes to find Joyce, but the damage he has sustained from the fight has left him erratic. Ted confronts an astonished Joyce, but as he malfunctions, he reveals his true intentions As Joyce resists, Ted becomes violent and knocks her out. Buffy then awakens and knocks Ted out with a frying pan, killing him. Meanwhile, the Scooby Gang investigate Ted's bunker, which is decorated in a 50s style. Xander finds Ted's previous 4 wives all dead. The gang returns to school the next day with Buffy cleared of all charges and discusses their discoveries about Ted. Apparently, the real Ted Buchanan was a sickly but brilliant inventor in the 1950s whose wife left him. In desperation, he built a robot version of himself. The robot kidnapped Ted's wife and held her captive in his bunker until she died. The robot then sought out other women resembling Ted's dead wife and repeated the process until he met Joyce. All seems to return to normality, although Buffy, Willow and Xander and Cordelia once again walk in on adults kissing, this time the two being Giles and Jenny in the library. The end. Yay.
Yay.
All right, over to you, Eddie.
Yeah. What do I want to say about this episode?
Oh, I've got a pretty good idea what you want to say about it. But don't worry, Daddy's here.
Oh, God. Yes. It is that demonizing the step-parent trope that's also used quite commonly.
Gosh darn it. He's just so lovable, isn't he?
So what do I want to say about this episode?
Yeah, what do you want to say, Eddie?
It does deal with, domestic violence and child abuse. And I don't know, it just kind of takes you out of the fantasy realm, and like a lot of fans see Buffy as like, it's escapist. And it just, I think this episode just cuts it a little too, as Giles says, the subtext very rapidly becomes text, so to speak.
Yeah.
Did you work out that he was a robot?
No. I did not see that coming.
Well, because they do throw in, if there's a few little off.
He's a machine. Yeah, I'm not wired that way. There's a few lines that he says
and
throughout
I think
it.
Joyce says something like, "Oh, every house should have one."
Yeah, every house should have one. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's sort of these scattered things, and the fact that he has like those really old-fashioned.
Yeah, that's not really a clue. Like a robot from
Malarkey. Who the hell says malarkey?
Yeah, I mean that could be just a guy who's like brought up underground or something. It doesn't really necessarily mean he's a robot built, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
A futuristic robot built 50 years ago. Which can I just say is never. I think this was one of those episodes that nothing is really resolved properly, is it?
It also takes because Buffy, it's always been like this fantasy show, but this kind of takes it into the realm of sci-fi.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't have a problem with that, but my only issue is that it's not really resolved quite convincingly for me. So, was he dead in the end? I mean, they said the police had dropped their case. So, what? The police knew he was a robot, or he just ran away, or he wasn't dead?
I guess they just figured he would disappeared, but then they found like the bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the
going
case
back
was
40 years. So they're assuming he's not a robot, or that he faked his death.
Well, as I said, the police are in on it. Remember, so they're in on the weird goings.
Okay. So all right. So we're just assuming that they let Buffy off because they know she's a Slayer.
They don't know that she's a Slayer, but they would have known he was a robot. Let's just tell her that.
No one knew he was a robot. He just walked out of there, and that's okay.
He didn't walk out.
How did he get out?
He didn't. They killed him.
No, when he died, or when he quote unquote died the first time.
Yeah. No.
So I mean, as far as I knew, that was a dead person or someone who died, and then so what they know he's not dead anymore. Well, because Joyce sort of says at the end that, I hope I don't see him again. So is there implying that he's a con man who faked his death? Is that?
Yeah. I think the police have fed Joyce a different story.
Yeah, and he built a robot how?
Because he was a brilliant inventor. Yeah.
Yes, but
mind you, and this won't be the last time we get robots in like these very
yes,
that
was one of the trivia things of this episode. The first and not the last robot.
There will be multiple robots actually that come into it.
Wow. Look forward to those.
That become main characters almost. You know what else I did not like about this was actually the B plot with Jenny and Giles.
Yeah.
Them getting back together, like their little thing that they were doing. But the scene that really doesn't work is the one at the end where you have both you have a fight with Giles and a vampire. Giles and Jenny are fighting a vampire.
Yeah.
And it's interplaced in with Buffy being strangled.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work at all. Like it's distracting.
Yeah.
Because it just breaks the tension.
Well, it's kind of lighthearted, Miss Calendar and Giles fight, because then she tries to shoot the vampire and shoots him in the arse by accident.
Yeah.
And even the vampire is having a bit of a cackle at that.
Laugh at yes. Yeah, and then you've got this quite serious.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, it's still like a 40-year-old man beating on a 16-year-old girl. Like even in that, like the first scene when he hits her, and she's just like, I so wanted you to do that just so that she could hit him back. And then she has all that guilt that she has after it, going, oh, you know,
she killed a human.
Yeah, and she does, like, it comes up quite often about whether being a slayer gives you the right to hurt humans because you are more powerful than them. You know, with great power becomes great responsibility.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and we get the first appearance of the overalls of shame.
Those horrible overalls she was wearing.
Yeah. So I call them the overalls of shame. It's whenever something. Yeah, just
keep an eye out for them.
Trust me. Whenever you see these overalls of shame,
they're going to come up again.
They're going to come up.
Right. Keep an eye for those.
So keep an
when
eye
she's
out.
really, really down and depressed.
Yeah,
got to put the overalls on.
Yeah, or something bad has happened.
And the ponytail.
Yeah,
she just needs glasses, and we got the trifecta.
Yeah, the glasses. Oh, and ponytail.
So was it the John Ritter character that was really off-putting you in this episode? The hey little lady.
I couldn't stand
every time
he says little lady, and it's just that super condescending and making sure that she's been put in her place to make sure that she knows what he really thinks of her.
Yeah. Yeah, little lady.
I also have a thing with people taking away other people's names. I hate when people decide to give other people nicknames, and I know we've had arguments about this before.
Yes.
Because in the AFL football culture, it's quite prevalent to give people nicknames.
Every sporting culture has nicknames, you know.
Yeah, but sometimes those nicknames are
it's different than calling little lady or cupcake or something like that.
Yeah,
they're kind of derogatory sort of.
Some men just think it's okay to, be like sweetheart and cupcake and darling.
I hear women say darling or love. Yeah,
darling. You know what? I don't mind it when it's
babe.
I don't mind it. Babe, I don't.
I've had a girl call me babe before, like in the shop. What would you like, babe? I'm like, what would I like?
Really?
Wow.
I get the
love. It wasn't like an older woman, so it's just like, yeah, what do you want? What would you like, babe? And I'm like,
But maybe like, babe. No, that doesn't work either, baby.
No, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Starters, call me daddy.
Yeah, but I have had to explain to people that giving nicknames to people can be bullying as well. You still don't think that's the case, but
it depends on the circumstances.
Yeah.
Is my point.
And I never I never call people by their nicknames. And as I said, and I always introduce my name's one of those names that gets shortened to all sorts of things over the years. So that's why I think the name thing, the nickname thing actually gets to me, because I've had a lot of horrible nicknames given to me.
Well, if you've got like a ginger guy, you might call him Bluey, you know?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Bluey? No, because most of the time that they just stuck with that forever.
Always a bluey?
He'll always be. I'm shocked that my dad was never a bluey.
Yeah. Well, you said if you could have called him that, but you might have a black eye.
Yeah. So the way that he's condescending terminology to her all the time is little lady.
Mm.
It just grates
and
on
peaked
me.
at the don't worry,
Daddy's
here.
Well, that's the other thing is that he gets right on into and this is an issue that will quite often come up with couples who have kids from separate marriages and whether or not the step parent is actually allowed to discipline or parent the child, but he pretty much comes in and he's decided he's going to be parenting.
He did the ground running. He didn't even pause for a second.
Yeah, he straight up starts trying to parent her.
Yeah.
Just in going, no. That's not how this works. That's not. And Joyce lets it happen. And I will preface this by saying that I will never criticize a parent in the real world. But Joyce is the absolute worst in this episode.
Well, yeah, when Buffy tells her that he assaulted. Well, what do you say?
And he's just, no, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't do that. No, he didn't do that. Okay.
He did no such thing, I think.
Can I ask, where does she meet these guys? How did they meet? I mean, what?
Well, she said that he came into the gallery to
install some software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So in that same conversation, Joyce starts going on about being a single parent, and how hard it is to meet men and blah, to the point Buffy finishes her sentence for her, and I'm like, who does that to their kid? Why would you do that to your kid?
Sorry, what did she do?
She's saying, she's going on about how hard it, pretty much blaming Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Blaming her kid for the reason why she's single.
Right. Okay. Right.
And I'm just like, who does that?
Yeah.
That's sort of an absolute, and it's obviously something that she's said a lot because Buffy finishes the sentence for her. So it's something that Joyce has been saying constantly to her.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm just like, you're the fucking worst in this episode, Joyce. And I know she is being drugged. I'll give her that.
Yeah, okay. We'll let that one slide again.
And this one won't, and it's, I don't know. But the other thing is she either falls on one side or the other because sometimes she's just not there. This is the first time we've seen her in 5 episodes. I think.
Yeah. Oh, and the whole commotion of them fighting upstairs didn't seem to draw any attention either.
No.
Until later. Oh, the yelling and screaming. Where's Joyce?
Yeah.
This guy's walked into a room as well.
He spent, he would have spent several hours in Buffy's room.
Yeah, because he was waiting for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joyce would have been like, oh, where's...
Who lets a man you barely know spend hours in your daughter's bedroom? Your teenage daughter's bedroom.
Yeah.
Snooping around through her stuff.
Yeah, but what was she doing? Watching TV? I guess Ted's just upstairs rummaging around our house.
Yes.
Okay. Nothing to worry about, nothing to see here, but ladies and gentlemen, we're all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This episode also fits into there's sort of this common theme throughout season 2 of people not being who they say they are.
Mm-hmm.
So, in Inca Mummy Girl, Imparter pretending to be...
Yeah.
Inca Mummy Girl pretending to be Imparter. In Reptile Boy, you've got those frat boys pretending they're these lovely nice guys.
Yes.
But they have a torture rape dungeon thing, demon penis thing going on. Halloween, you have Ethan Rayne pretending to be a
costume shop salesman.
Costume shop salesman instead of an agent of chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Lie to Me, you have Ford pretending to be Buffy's friend but then selling her out. And again, in the Dark Age, you find out about Giles. Giles isn't who he says he is.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Giles being Ripper. Also having the name Ripper.
Yeah.
And I did mention about Buffy and killing humans.
Yeah.
And the consequences of this is also something that comes up quite often. But Buffy does tend to kill quite a lot of humans that they don't really talk about much. So
yeah.
I think it's okay if they try to kill her first. Is that?
Yeah, I guess provocation has to be there before you can kill someone.
Yeah, because those order of truck people, like 2 of those were human.
Yeah. That didn't seem to be an issue.
And then there was those some assembly required.
Some assembly required.
Required.
Yeah.
He was human technically.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Who else? Like, I'm trying to think of other.
I don't know. That's all I can think of at the moment.
I know. There's more. There are more that come into it. So.
Yeah.
And what rabbit hole did you go down this week, Jared?
So rabbit hole, Captain and Tennille.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Captain. It's one of those bands that you know but don't know. So I'm like, okay. So I heard this song plenty of times, and I never knew that was them. But I went down the rabbit hole of television, I think mainly, oddly enough, on a TV show. So John Ritter's father, Tex Ritter, worked with Joss Whedon's father, Tom Whedon, on lots of TV shows. Tom Whedon was a writer, producer, and lots of TV shows during the 50s and 60s. And Tex Ritter had made dozens of films. There's lots of westerns and stuff that he made. And I don't know how, but then I got onto Mary Tyler Moore for some reason. I started looking her up. Completely unrelated, but just looking like I haven't really seen many of her shows. None of them are really syndicated in Australia.
No, not at all.
I don't think I saw anything of Dick Van Dyke. Although I know Dick Van Dyke. I think he had another show.
He had a different show later on.
The Doctor Mysteries or something.
The Dick Van Dyke Mysteries or something like that. Yeah.
That's about all I know. But yeah, the Mary Tyler Moore, I know the name, from the Weezer song. Ooh, and I'm Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah. It's just an interesting career she had. She passed only a few years ago. We also mentioned John Ritter passed some time ago too, so that was not long after this episode. About 4 or 5 years after this episode was aired. Well, actually a bit longer, 6 years, I think.
Yeah.
And she only passed recently, Mary Tyler Moore, and just an interesting career she had with TV. And I just, as I was chatting with Eddie earlier, the polarizing characters that she played from the Dick Van Dyke Show to be the perfect
housewife,
nuclear housewife, to the free, independent woman working on her own in the 70s with the Mary Tyler Moore Show, which was produced by James L. Brooks, who would go on to produce Simpsons. And there were actually countless spin-off shows from Mary Tyler Moore as well. I think there's about half a dozen or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of the characters went on to have their own shows, and quite successful ones too, like lasting a few seasons, if you want to call successful.
Yeah. Kind of like Happy Days.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah. Can I just mention, she's quite pretty too, Mary Tyler Moore. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. So why were you watching Prince?
Oh, Prince. I'm gonna take you back to 1991. I was 11 years old, and I have some sort of awakening at this stage. And there's a video clip called "Cream," right?
Yes.
And these 2 beautiful dancers are on there dancing with Prince, and I just had an absolute epiphany when I found out that the 2 girls that he had, Diamonds and Pearls, that danced with him.
It's Miss Jenny Calendar.
And it's Miss Calendar.
Yeah. I'm
like, what?
Yeah.
Holy hell. It's her. And I rewatched that video clip, which I got to say, I haven't seen that video clip in a long time. And I've never been to a dry hump orgy before, but I'm guessing it would look something like that.
Yeah, because I was watching it going, I think he's caught on that that Jenny Calendar is one of the...
Yeah, Pearls.
is
She was
Pearl.
Pearl. I can't believe it. It was her. It was her. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I did already know this.
Yeah, I know. I had no idea.
And he at one stage when he like stopped talking, she used to talk for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard some weird stories too. They were his sex slaves, or what? And she became a nun.
Okay.
I remember hearing that after him they became a nun. I do remember a story of them first meeting, and I don't know if it was her. It was one of them telling the story, so I don't know which one it was. And it was some story about them getting in a cab in New York, and then he was going uptown, I'm going downtown, and he paid for a taxi and dropped her off uptown, and then she found out later it was Prince. I don't know how true that story is. I remember seeing that somewhere. I mean, he had a song called Diamonds and Pearls, which he sang about them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened to their characters or their personas, apart from the fact he made an album about them and toured for a bit, and yeah, Miss Calendar went on to join Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Who would have known?
Yeah.
And
she's in a lot of his film clips.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So
I used to think they were twins, Diamonds and Pearls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not think that. But
No, well, because they always dress similar, and have similar hair. But if you just look for an extra second. I mean, just back in the day I'm talking about. Like I initially thought they were twins, and someone pointed out you just need to open your eyes a little wider.
Yes.
Stop squinting.
All right. Do we want to go into... Have we gotten out of the rabbit hole yet?
I think that was out of the rabbit hole.
All right. Let's go on to question time.
All right. Ready for this?
Question time.
Answer the question.
All right, let's go.
All right. Which was your favorite character?
I think I like Ted. Yeah, Ted.
All right. No, Buffy's good in this.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving Buffy in this one. Which character do you love to hate?
Ted?
Yes, Ted is the correct answer.
Yes.
Yes. What?
Favorite character you love to hate? He's my favorite because I hate him.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. What was the most memorable fight scene?
I think the fight scene in the cemetery where she's absolutely beating the crap out of the vampire with a trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beating him to a bloody pulp.
Yeah.
I think that I really like the first fight with Ted, which is she just wanted him to hit her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty tense because you don't really know because when you're first watching it, you just think he's a regular 40-year-old guy just beating on a 16-year-old girl.
Well, he's something. Like you suspect that he's something, but you're not sure what. Like some sort of demon or something.
Or just believe it or not, Jared, there are possibly some men out there exactly like that.
But no, he seemed to be taking the hits, like not like a human.
Yeah.
So I knew he was something.
And he did hit her pretty hard.
Yeah, like he knocked her out.
Hard.
So I just knew he was demon of some sort.
Yeah. LOL moment.
I when I was rewatching it again, you heard me like crack up laughing, and I think it is the "Don't worry, Daddy's here" moment.
My vagina, when he says that, just goes so dry. It's like a desert. It's just all the moisture.
Yes. Nice. Also, maybe the scene where Miss Calendar and Giles are trying to fight the vampire, and she shoots him in the ass with the arrow. It's not quite in his ass, but we're saying it's in his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have the Buffy says to the one in this is in the cemetery. Buffy's like, any others? And Giles is, well, for their sake.
That was going to be my quote, actually.
Oh, yeah, well, for their sakes, I certainly hope not. You don't normally beat them to a bloody pulp beforehand. Everything all right?
And no extra charge.
Who gets the wooden spoon?
Oh, it's got to be Buffy's mum. Joyce, yeah.
Yeah, Joyce.
Absolute wooden spoon, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. She should actually get worst mother in the world award for this episode.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm being pretty harsh on it.
Yeah. She was pretty awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I pay that.
Okay, favorite scene.
Yeah, maybe the go to the mini golf scene where he, confronts her and just sort of comes out of nowhere too. Like you see Buffy throw the ball in the cup and she looks around and he's like standing there, with these ominous glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah, staring at her. Like he's just come out of nowhere. Like you looked around. How could you not seen him? Her peripheral vision again is failing her.
Yeah. Yeah. My favorite scene of this episode is with Xander, Willow, and Cordelia in Ted's torture bunker.
Mm-hmm.
And Xander's like, "What you got in the closet, Ted?" And he opens it, shuts it really quickly, and then's like, "Let's go." And everyone's like, "But we need evidence." And Xander's like, "Yeah, I got it." We got it. And they're like, "What's in there?" He's like, "His first 4 wives."
Mm.
Yeah. The way that's seen. It's also the fact that you don't see.
Yeah, you don't see it.
You don't see what's in the closet. He just quickly opens it, shuts it, and walks out going, "Nah, we've found what we're looking for."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Least favorite scene.
Maybe the Angel scene.
Oh yeah.
Like we've got to have Angel in this episode, so
yeah. And they're just making out, and he's like, "Loneliness. Your mum's really lonely. Loneliness is bad. Your mum should be happy. Give the guy a chance."
Yeah. Gosh darn it.
Yeah, I hate when Ted's doing it's the mini golf before he's going to slap her face scene. And he's like, the rules are the rules. And what we teach her is what she takes out in this. It's the fact that it says what we teach her.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah, straight away with the parenting.
Straight away. This is what I get pissed off by this, because he's sitting there going, what we teach her is what she takes out into the world when we're not there, whether it's at school or at an unchaperoned party. Yeah.
Yeah, and Joyce says nothing.
No,
she agrees with him.
No, she's like, "Oh, he's got a point." I'm like, "No,
Excuse me?
No, he doesn't, because he used the word we. He's not a parent. He's not her father. He doesn't get to use that term."
No.
And if we'd split up and we're dating someone and a guy said that to me, I'd be like, "Excuse me?"
Mm-hmm.
What's this wee shit you're talking?
Yeah.
Favorite quote.
I think that was the one you said before when Buffy was beating that vampire, and she's like, "Any others?" And Giles replies, "Well, for their sakes, I certainly hope not."
Yes. Yeah, I've got the same. Well, my favorite quote's when so Giles interrupts. Like Buffy's going on about vampires being in the park, and then all of a sudden she starts going, and then they're making mini pizzas and they're in your kitchen and everyone's and Giles interrupts going, Buffy, I believe the subtext here is rapidly becoming text. Are you sure there's nothing you want to share? All right, who's the MVP of this episode?
Guess it has to be Buffy. Though I did find Xander. Well, he didn't really do much, really, did he? No. I think it's Buffy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Though again, Ted. I mean, abducting 4 women and keeping it trapped for 50 years and not getting caught. I guess he did pretty well.
Maybe Willow does some good investigating in this.
Yeah.
She somehow works out what's in the cookies and finds where his bunker is, and yeah. Best Cordelia freakout moment?
Oh, that's got to be at the start when Xander says, "Hey, you look great," and she starts, "What? What do you mean?" What did she say? I think you got it down.
I gave you a compliment. In front. Oh no, this is after it. He like chases after her, going, "What's wrong with you?" "I gave you a compliment," and she's like, "In front of your friends? They're gonna know." He's like, "Know what? Please, it's too traumatic for me to even say." Yeah.
Yeah, I can remember at that school, like, not, seeing a girl, but you don't want everyone else to know you're seeing that girl. And she didn't want, you want to keep it a secret for some reason. Like, everyone's kind of embarrassed to know you're going out with someone.
Okay.
Do you remember that? No?
Well, not really.
Not really? No? Oh.
Oh, maybe a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that would sometimes hesitate, starting a relationship with somebody like, oh no, everyone's got to know about it, Oh, I don't want everyone to know.
Yeah. What do you rate the episode out of 10 using something from the show?
I think I'll give it 3 daddy's homes. Daddy's here.
Yeah,
out of 10.
I'm going to go 4 out of 10 ecstasy laced cookies.
Yes, the nice ones. Oh, and just a revise on the episode we did a while ago. I mentioned the Kurt Cobain glasses that Buffy wears sometimes.
Yeah.
And I did sort of mention that, or suspect that maybe, Kurt Cobain didn't wear them that much and it was just for that photo shoot. And upon just doing a little bit of research, no, he wore those all the fucking time. It wasn't just a one-off opportunity. Yeah. Just a clarification on that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else you wanted to add? I think we're done.
No, I don't stand for that sort of malarkey in my house.
Gosh darn it. Let's wrap it up, Eddie.
All right.
Okay. Well, thanks for listening to us. We are Nerd Subculture. You can find us on
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can email us at nerdsubculture at gmail.com.
Yeah. Or on any of the social networks. So yeah, share, like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Say hello.
Rate
We'll catch you next time.
Interact. Bye.
See ya.
Grr, arg.